Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Overwatch PIT North America Grand Finals. It's Championship Friday at long last. Man, it has been a hell of a ride. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Joshi, getting ready for Rogue to take on Liquid in a best-of-5 showdown. No direct winner bracket advantage. Rogue did get to sit back and relax a little bit, but it will be a full best-of-5. So walking into today, Joshi, let's talk a little bit about the paths that the teams took here, because they took completely opposite trajectories. On the one hand, you have Rogue, who pretty smoothly cruised through the group stage, didn't drop a map, went all the way into the winner bracket finals, still undefeated on maps. Then they finally drop 2 maps in a best-of-5 to Selfless, but they end up taking the series. Selfless drops down and eventually gets eliminated by none other than Team Liquid. And on the other side, you have Liquid, who, I mean, many didn't think would even get to the playoffs, let alone make a run, and they did it almost entirely through the lower bracket, eventually taking down Selfless, who proved to be kind of a challenge for them earlier in the earlier winner bracket semifinals, where they lost, but they came back and they made the run. So here they are. They face Rogue today. Well, first of all, I guess I should start by asking, how are you doing, and how do you feel about the paths these teams have taken to get here?
Well, I'm doing great. We're obviously here for a huge finals, and anytime I get to cast a finals, I'm very excited. So Rogue versus Team Liquid will be another great one for us. Another awesome best-of-5. Yesterday we had 2 awesome best-of-5s, so I'm actually a little upset that we only get 1 today. But as far as the paths that these teams took to get here, you spelled it out pretty nicely. Rogue only lost 2 maps the entire run here, and they were both to Selfless Gaming in that winner's bracket final. Now Rogue sitting comfortably in the grand finals, got to watch actually Team Liquid take out Selfless Gaming in that lower bracket final as well. So Rogue able to disseminate some of that information. They've had basically a whole day to get ready for Team Liquid after figuring out who they were going to be playing against. Liquid obviously have the same for Rogue, but Team Liquid actually only lost 2 series to get to this grand final as well, and they were to Rogue in the group stages, 0-2, and to Selfless in the winner's second round. They lost to Selfless 1-2, so they've already come back and beaten Selfless. They've gotten their revenge there. Now could see a nice revenge grand final for Team Liquid, especially since it is just a pure BO5, like you mentioned. There's no one-game advantage, no bracket reset, anything like that. If Team Liquid came to play today, they could surprise even more people and walk away with a championship here.
Man, wouldn't that be something if Liquid had to reset the bracket and beat Rogue not once, but twice in 2 BO5s? I mean, hell, I would cast it, I would enjoy it, but that sounds pretty grueling, not only for the teams, but potentially for you guys, the viewers at home as well. So thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been a pretty long tournament, a hefty group stage, a full round robin, and then into a double elimination bracket where we began with 12 teams. We whittled it down to 8. So we've gotten to watch a lot of Overwatch, and we've gotten to see quite a few other interesting storylines as the players are starting to enter the lobby here, guys. So for those wondering, we're going to be going to Kings Row first, waiting on 1 Rogue player, and then for the teams to ready up. So Rogue will have choice of side. But while we wait, I mean, Joshi, we can talk about the Fallen, I suppose. CLG probably the other big surprise, and we've talked a lot about how they're a real dark horse along with Liquid. Liquid has made the better run, but CLG not quite as impressive, but pretty damn close. And again, not a team that people really gave a lot of credit going into this event either.
Yeah, CLG actually taking, I guess, 4th place, Selfless securing 3rd for themselves. They actually did have a nice tournament for themselves. I would not have pegged them as top 4 probably at the beginning of the event, but their group stage performance actually saw them exit that group 2nd behind only Selfless due to some tiebreakers. So CLG obviously proved their worth there. And then just losing to Team Liquid in the lower bracket, they lost to Rogue as well. So they're losing to the 2 grand finalist teams. I mean, it's really hard to judge if they could have maybe put up a fight against Selfless in the brackets, for example. But CLG actually already ran into a bit of bad luck today in another event, losing to Denial. So you gotta keep the momentum going once you win some matches like that. And CLG, I mean, obviously we're going to keep an eye on them moving forward, but today is all about Rogue and Liquid, and it looks like everybody's here now.
All right. Teams are readying up. Unko says he's good to go. Our admin is available, and I think just waiting on the go-ahead from Team Liquid, and we get started. So won't have too much longer of a wait. I'll get your prediction, Josh, as we get ready for the match. Rogue come in as big favorites. Do you believe in the Liquid, I'll call it Cinderella story, or do you think Rogue is just going to be that Titan that mercilessly smashes them down and takes yet another NA tournament and puts it under the French flag?
I will not let the Selfless Liquid match phase me. I think that Rogue still are kind of ahead above everybody else on North America right now. So still calling Rogue for the winners of this one. It looked like Selfless had the chance to snap this super long win streak, but even they weren't able to get it done with a 2-1 map lead in a best of 5. So Liquid, I mean, this is obviously the biggest challenge that they've had trying to actually secure a tournament victory. They've already placed minimum second, which is the best showing that they've had in quite a long time. So they should be proud of what they've done so far, but this is going to be a really, really tough task. Rogue, now that they've had a day to work out the kinks, basically figure out what they did poorly against Selfless and try to minimize those mistakes today, I think Rogue are going to be refreshed and just as scary as ever for Liquid.
All right. Joshi has little faith, we'll say, in Liquid. I'm going to take the dark horse here. I actually think Liquid didn't get lucky in those games, and what they showed was a level of versatility that we haven't seen from Rogue. Now, it's been said that Rogue has other strategies. They've said they're just not opting to use them, but that's pretty much just been the dive comp. Every game for them, working well. I've seen a lot more strategic depth out of Liquid, and I think if they bring that type of strategy to this match, they could pull the upset. So I'm going to go Liquid 3-2, but, you know, I'm not saying it with huge confidence. I just have a feeling, man. I just have a feeling. So, all right, Joshi, let's go. Overwatch PIT North America Grand Finals getting underway now. On the attack to start things off is Team Liquid.
Team Liquid running Farrah Mercy, AZK on the Tracer, who was absolutely wonderful yesterday for Team Liquid, and Shatter2K launches just a couple of arrows as Hanzo before switching over to the Genji. A little bit of map history here. Both teams actually lost King's Row to Selfless yesterday. Rogue actually were full held against Selfless, and Team Liquid had a little bit better luck, but still lost as well. So neither teams actually, I would say, are specialists here, but they both obviously are very experienced. Farrah Mercy so far just looking for some rockets. Whatever gets hit by a damage amp rocket is what everything else will jump on and try to kill.
Well, Nico, he took that hit. Instantly, the Winston comes in looking to deep fry him pretty quickly, but the Cybernetic Ninja gets back towards safety, will survive for now. ID had a big showing on the Pharah yesterday, gets in a good high ground position here. Nobody really contesting him as of yet. AKM needs to be the man to shut him down, but he's trapped on the low ground. Can't really get any sort of positional advantage for now on the Pharah, so it's up to Nox to hold the point. Can they dive on, finish off that soldier? They try Shatter2K, looks to shut him down, ends up getting picked off. Then Nox and Nico following up, so they commit a lot, but all of a sudden, guess what? Dahang says, round 2, let's try this again. Shatter jumping in further, dying once more, so now it's really on to AZK. Lobbed out the pulse bomb, not going to connect. It's been a decent showing here from the supports and the tanks, but they need a couple more kills from these DPS heroes to shove through, and it looks like finally, with the spawn advantage, they might be able to take it, but good stalling coming out from Nox, and now AKM with the tac visor.
AKM actually got a nano visor. Primal Rage was used by Nox as well, so a few ultimates were used, but Rogue do seem to be getting a handle on things. Liquid do have the closer spawn, and Dahang was very close to another res actually before getting eliminated there. Dragon Blade is out here for Nico, trying to find some squishies. Now that the tanks are just getting back into the battle though, he thinks better of it, and Sound Barrier on both sides. Pulse Bomb comes out, takes out Mezzer, and part 3 of this fight is actually going to Rogue 2 minutes after this fight got initiated. 85% captured here for Liquid.
Oh man, Shatter2K going down again. That's 3 deaths. I didn't see if he actually got the sound barrier in that fight, but he died awful quickly, so maybe it missed him. Either way, not having that huge impact on the Genji, so let's see if AZK can step up and do some of the heavy lifting. They get Winslow, they need to finish off that Lucio. Can't quite find him as Soon looks to track down some easy kills on the point, and now Shatter2K unsheathing the blade, finds the 1 kill on Unko. He ends up dropping though, they res right as his body hits the earth. Now he will come back in a pretty close position as far as the spawn goes, but still a decent stall so far at least. AKM gonna jump on the point, will end up going down. Rogue starting to crumble. Now hopping the Lucio back into position, but wins nowhere near the sound barrier, so feels like they're largely playing for time. They're not giving this point up easy though. Nico dashing through again, still contesting, only at 85%. It's not over yet, say Rogue, as Nico finds the kill, dashes forward, trying to get back, potentially to a heal. He gets the anti-grenade, another dash, another kill, not dead yet, still has a breath of life, and now the team gets back into it. They aren't able to cap just yet. They're so close, but they have to back out, Joshi.
92% gathered, and Rogue are showing their expertise in actually just alternating lives, contesting the point 1 person at a time. I watched from third person basically that whole encounter where Tracer would be on the point, dash out, Genji would get in there, dash out, Winston would go in there. They're basically playing like tag team wrestling essentially. You go in and fight the 3 people, but only 1 person has to contest, and 92% is where Liquid are kind of jammed up.
Yeah, it also means at the same time with 2 ticks already, they don't need to hold the point for all that long. So now the Nano Boost committed. Winston tries to zone this Soldier out of position, but with the Nano Visor and with the Winston being put to sleep, that ain't going to happen. So now 20 seconds. They could stagger Mezzer. They're trying for it, but looks like they'll be able to leap back towards safety. One last push here to get this first point. Close. Can they close it out? They probably have a res if the Hang lives. They also have a sound barrier, so good support ults to work with. And coming in for the flank is ID with the barrage at the ready, but has to worry about Nico, who brings out the blade, now deflects. He's been patient with this barrage, lets it go, but AKM there with the punish. Counter sound barrier from Wins. He brings the gun down, keeps the point in check, and AKM cleaning up. They are going to hold. It will be a full hold here on Kings Row. 92% the percentage to beat.
Wow, that's really all I can say about that one. Rogue at 85% started that dance into the point over and over 1% at a time that I mentioned earlier. It all got started really with that Nano Visor from AKM. He returned at the perfect time to get the last couple of kills on Liquid. Suddenly only supports were left, and they had no momentum to try and force Rogue off of the point. And again, credit to Soon and Nico both bouncing into the point when they needed to jam up Liquid's capture percentage. Nox with the Primal Rages multiple times, really, really slowing down that progress. And there was a critical kill onto Dehang when he had something like 80% toward a res that could have given Liquid the point with like 2.5 minutes left. So some timely kills, some timely ultimate usage, and Rogue end up with a full hold, even though it wasn't like full team wipes ever. It was kind of just 3 extended super long fights that they kept contesting long enough and got that full hold. So Rogue, all they have to do is get 92.1% here on point A, and Kings Row could be in the bag very quickly.
Yeah, and something that I believe, you know, you've talked about when we've cast in the past is that the capture bar is a resource. And, you know, in addition to ultimates, you also can give up percentage. And especially with the new format, they really used they played the capture point economy wisely, never fully gave up the point, now in a great position where they were staggering bodies on and off. And if you're in the position of Liquid, you know not only do you have to hold for 4 minutes, you can't ever just fully drop off the point for too long, lest you don't even get a chance to contest and retake. So Rogue in a great position now, sticking to their guns here. They're going to be running that Unko Zen, who's been instrumental with the Discord Orb so many a time. And up against the Pharah Mercy, Discord Orb, a powerful ally for AKM. So let's see, can Liquid pull out, I won't call it a miracle, but an extremely strenuous and difficult defense.
Well, you've already got my opinion on the matter. I think Rogue have looked pretty good here in the past, but they did get full held by Selfless just yesterday on this map, so it's really anyone's game, I think. Mezzer is going to go ahead and drop the bubble as Rogue start to loop around the statue. ID and Dehang, of course, are already in the skies trying to rain down those rockets. And again, anyone who gets hit by a damage jump rocket, that's going to be their first target for Winston to dive in on. AZK to help out. Shatter finds the first kill, though, with a Helix rocket onto Soon's Tracer.
AKM, meanwhile, forced back as they also got the kill on Nico, so a full retreat, headlong back towards the spawn. 30 seconds off the clock. So about 1/8 of the way there. They will be regrouping, coming back in. Pulse Bomb halfway towards charging for Soon. And other than that, no big ultimates particularly likely to come out in this next engagement unless they start pulling ahead, as Soon is forced to recall. So now he's going to have to play a lot more carefully. AZK, good job at pressuring him here. Both defensive tracers experiencing quite a bit of early success. You can see both teams looks like really want to farm their ultimates up before this next engagement, especially if you're Rogue. No, you have the better spawn, but ID striking again. Direct hit on the AKM, finds the pick, was just kind of spamming the corner, and AKM peeking at the wrong time, gets punished. So ID continues to be a real playmaker on this Pharahs. Now we're down to 2 minutes 40 seconds. This next push, a big one.
Yeah, a couple of rockets can ruin someone's day. I always say it, but Zenyatta is bullseye shaped, so if he happens to connect long range, that push is just suddenly over. They are very unwilling to push without Zenyatta, but as they make their first big move, Nico's going to find the kill on Mezzer. Unko does go down in the process. The res is going to be committed by Dehang immediately. Pulse Bomb actually comes out from AZK and whiffs, but a damage amp barrage comes out from ID. It forces the Rogue players into positions maybe they wouldn't want to be in, but no kills for it. And 4 Liquid players against 4 Rogue players does give the attackers a slight spawn advantage here. Soon is still alive as Tracer, and that's always a threat.
Well, they are going to have a chance to reset here. They didn't commit any support ult, so going to this next fight with the res down, they arguably have the ult advantage as the double support ult. Let's see if they can make it work. They swing the blade. They're going to unlock the AKM Tac Visor, but he's doing it into a sound barrier, not getting a whole lot done. Meanwhile, Chatter2K, who's been a little more patient with his, finds the triple, looking for the quad. He'll get it with the help of ID. Now Nico dashing away and back onto the point. Only 18% secure, Joshy, so you know, if you're pro-rating it, they're on track to lose. Are we going to see two teams full hold here?
It's very possible, and with the new anti-draw rules, Liquid may be able to walk out of here with a win in about 90 seconds, so this is going to be extremely close. It's got Nox's Primal Rage at the ready for Rogue as well as that Transcendence, so some real sustain coming out for them on this fight. Rafa falls very quickly there soon, finding the headshot as Tracer, ID, and Dehang are still above. Dehang very quickly trying to get toward the res, but he goes down. Oh, Nico and AKM find the kills during the Transcendence, and Rogue, they've gotten enough kills now. This is all but inevitable.
Yeah, Primal Rage even up on Nox to keep heroes off of the point as you can see that meter racking up percentage, 70, and rising. They might touch the point, but they ain't holding it. So Liquid, a good showing on defense, but they needed probably one, maybe two more fights to hold, and just not able to muster them. That was a quick first map.
Yeah. Nice full hold on one side, and then point A capture just with about a minute left, so only a 7 or 8 minute map in general is a pretty quick start for Rogue. Obviously, we didn't get to see the rest of King's Row, but they didn't have to because they held Team Liquid so efficiently, and AKM is going to get play of the match honors, probably for that Nano Visor that saved the point during their defense. Am I right on that one? No, it's actually not. Oh, that's a good hit, though.
Yeah, just bops him. Pretty easy to line that up, but AKM is generally on top of things here. And if you full hold on King's Row, you're always going to feel good going into your attack. And they pull it out. So Rogue, it is a best of 5. Could still turn out to be a long series, but already in a comfort position here. And now looking for Liquid, they will have pick, Joshy. So thoughts on what they should go to here? We saw, I think they were favoring, what was it, the control point maps quite a bit yesterday after some early success versus Selfless.
Well, Rogue did win Lijiang Tower 3-0 against Selfless, and that was the map that really put the last nail in the coffin and sent them into the grand finals. So Lijiang Tower, I would expect maybe out of Rogue. Out of Team Liquid, it's a little bit more questionable, I guess. They did actually take it to Lijiang Tower after they lost King's Row, so I don't know if I want to take Rogue there immediately. It's kind of a tricky prospect for them.
Yeah, so for those who are wondering, the map pool is Lijiang Tower. We have Nepal, we have Route 66, we just saw King's Row, Hanamura, Ilios, and Dorado. So tons of control point maps available, only one assault map, and then a few payload or hybrid options here. So definitely a wide spectrum, and, well, it is going to be Ilios. Actually a map where Liquid has had a lot of success, and with unconventional picks, we've seen the ID Widowmaker, the Fair Mercy. I wouldn't say it's unconventional, but it's something they've been sticking with when other teams have abandoned it and making it work for them. So Liquid, pretty good results on Ilios. They will go there, but hey, this is Rogue we're talking about. They're good everywhere.
Yeah, Rogue on Ilios, they actually, I think they did not play, yeah, they did not play Selfless there, so essentially what that means is every Ilios before that, Rogue had to have won because they didn't lose any maps until Selfless. So pretty much nowhere is safe for Liquid, if we're being honest. I think Dorado and Lijiang Tower were actually Rogue's strongest yesterday. So Ilios and maybe some nice middle ground here. ID's Widowmaker was very, very nice for Liquid in the group stages and early playoff rounds. The last time it popped out didn't do too amazing on its own. I think they did end up making the switch to Fair Mercy and having much better success, but could see either look come out on the Ruins specifically. And for the other points, the Lighthouse and the Well, Farah is excellent on both of those, and Dehang is usually very good about hitting those reses. He got sniped a couple of times on King's Row, though, so Liquid may want to make sure that they're doing everything they can to protect him.
Yeah, especially on this point, hiding on top of the Lighthouse is very irritating if you don't have someone with big vertical mobility to go up and punish that Mercy. You just kind of hide there and then res the entire point. We saw Dehang go for that play yesterday. It also did backfire where it seemed like they were banking too much on the res, and they ended up, well, getting the res off, but still just being in a bad position to win the ensuing fight and not getting much out of the Mercy leading up to the res. So curious to see how they opt to play it this time. It's pretty stock and standard for both teams. Rogue are going to bust up the Farah Mercy, though, so a slight curveball for them. Not running the full dive comp here, but Clearly looking to shut down ID. They also have a D.Va, they have a Winston bubble as well, and their own Pharah Mercy. So lots of tools to punish and irritate this Pharah.
Yeah, it seems generally that if you don't have a ton of wall climbing necessary, Genji is usually tossed out. And then once you've got kind of a debate between Soldier and Pharah, you're generally just going to start with one or the other, but Liquid are actually covering both of their bases with ID on the Pharah and Shatter 2K on the Soldier, so they might actually have a little bit of an anti-pharmacy comp to start off, but we'll see Rafa actually falling very low very quickly, but soon is going to be the first one down from those damage amp rockets.
Yeah, he stays alive. Rafa does. AZK also forced to recall as he was dropping low, and with that early pick, they might just secure the point. 2 seconds before they can unlock it, and just see how much Rogue are going to look to contest. Looks like the tanks are going to lead the charge. Jumping in is Nox, gets on initially to AZK, Shadow 2K able to demech Nico in the meanwhile. So in the early going here, it's all Liquid, and they are convincingly taking the fight.
Still all Liquid. Shatter 2K gets a Helix rocket kill onto Mercy, which can be very difficult if she was in the sky, but Nico finally goes down, and that will be Liquid grabbing the point first, 4% and climbing. We've got Rogue regrouping here. Don't see any switches just yet, so they're going to stay committed to the Pharah Mercy plus soon Tracer here. Nox getting slowly up toward that Primal Rage as well, but we'll have to check out their entry angle here. It's actually everyone pretty much just staying grouped with D.Va for the time being so that they can figure out where that Pharah Mercy is and where they're going to pounce.
Yeah, we can see Wins is public enemy #1 for Team Liquid. As they continue to focus on him, but so he ends up getting pocketed a little bit. Finally, they'll converge, get the kill. Meanwhile, ID taking down the enemy Pharah as soon as she loses her pocket. He is the power play. So kind of pulling them apart at the seams. Rogue getting forced back again. And that is the downside to the Pharah Mercy. As soon as the Mercy leaves him alone, he doesn't really have much of a chance in an even duel.
Well, the high ground you mentioned above the point on this one specifically is just great for IDN to hang because Mercy can see everyone out in front of them. If someone does need a quick heal, she can fly over, and Pharah herself, of course, still does max damage from max range, so she can just rain rockets down into those doorways, as well as that Fin choke that you see D.Va and Winston jumping through now. So it looks like they are going to take the high ground and try and pick off Rafa, who's actually very far away from his team right now on Team Liquid, but that's part of the strategy. They go after the Lucio, he speeds away, and everyone else dives in.
I don't know if that was part of the strategy, though. Shadow 2K aimbody immediately getting shut down. Rocket to the face says no. Unko with the res available, so even if they get a couple kills, looks like Rogue are going to have the edge going into this fight, but Mez are answering back. He's able to boop soon off the map, it appears. Now Nox chasing forward, looking for the kill in Shadow 2K. Lucio does get committed, giving him a little bit of extra HP to deal with, and he's going to jump forward once more. Keeps him off the point. AZK getting onto it, but still, very importantly, regardless of how the fight goes, they're not capping. And so now finding themselves Liquid at 90+%, just need this Mercy kill, and they'll have it. He's got the res available, but he ends up going down. He can't get the save. Medic comes up short, and now AZK recalling back. We're in overtime, needs to find multiple kills. Liquid still hanging on, still controlling the point, just slowly touching it, but really not a whole lot of follow-up to this. They all eventually crumble, and the first stage of Ilios goes the way of Liquid.
Excellent. Nice recovery from that King's Row loss to turn it into a 100-0 for the first round of Ilios. I think AZK definitely feels like he's on his Tracer playground now, and ID and Hang just kept it on lock from the skies above. It made it seem like Mezzer really didn't have a whole lot to do in that game, and Rafa was very often the bait. It seemed he would be separated from the team, and as soon as they dove in on him, he would just speed boost away, and he did that 2 or 3 times, while ID and Shatter 2K generally didn't have too much aggression on them. They were able to find those kills with the damage amp rockets and the Helix rockets across the board. AZK obviously just dealing with whoever happened to be in front of him and keeping himself alive. All worked out beautifully for Liquid. So we're going to move on to the Ruins now. AKM actually very early hovering on the Widowmaker. ID, we might actually have a Widow duel here.
All right, hopefully they take the fight to each other. AKM firing that first opening shot at the enemy Winston. For now, ID on the low ground, perhaps trying to catch AKM out. Nobody really finding the early connection with the Widow, but we'll see. Still a great Widow map. Lots of long sight lines to work with, lots of places to grapple to, and it's AKM who does draw the first blood, takes down Shatter 2K, has a good sight line and a more aggressive one towards the point. He's going for the snipe on ID. He's going to find it. The style points awarded for sure to AKM with the mid-air hookshot connection. Very well done.
That is the pretty much most style move that Widowmaker can do, is fling herself into the air and find the headshot on the enemy Widow. That was like really well executed. AKM already picking up a couple of kills in that first engagement, and no ults generated on either side, so Widowmaker is still a huge threat with that max range kill potential. Nox is going to have a pretty tough time staying on ID, as will Mezzer onto AKM, especially with the kind of tracers and divas and soldiers actually in the middle of the point. We've got Nox diving to try to protect his Widowmaker this time. Pulse Bomb goes flying out, gets a little bit of damage out from AZK, but Liquid's still struggling to reclaim the point here. Shatter2k is going to desuit Nico pretty quickly in the fight. The Widowmaker still just free-firing, though. Have a little bit of room to work with. Another Pulse Bomb flies out here, this time from Soon, and AZK finding a couple more kills. Liquid still trying to get their foot on the point here, but Sound Barrier coming out from Rogue gives them another huge advantage.
Yeah, it's still ID. He wins the Widow duel. Took him a while, though, so like you said, already up to 50% and rising for Rogue. Battling back on Ilios. Nox will pounce onto the point, make it 52. Assumes the high ground. Now Primal raging, but Primal rages his way off of the point, so doesn't stall it quite correctly, and ends up giving it away and committing an ult to a fight that might not be winnable. Looks like they are resetting, and while AKM is trying to regroup with his team, the punish comes out. ID finds him with a recon visor active. Quick pick for him. AKM closing in on a recon visor zone, but doesn't have it just yet.
This is already the longest I've seen a Widow versus a Widow actually stay out on the field for any pro teams in any time that I can recall. So it's kind of nice to actually see the variety come out and actually remain feasible, as both sides are finding kills from time to time here. But back on the point, Soon is going to try and pull Liquid apart a little bit. Pulse Bomb goes out from AZK and finds the sniper. AKM down. Unko also down here. AZK having another great round here on the Ruins. Soon actually got a nano boost and killed Soldier and Ana in the process. Pulse Bomb goes out from Soon, but doesn't find any value for it. Mezzer takes out Nox to try to keep Liquid in advantage here. 50% and rising means they will take the lead on Ruins.
Yeah, AZK holding that point beautifully, finding the backstab on AKM right when he's about to get recon visor. At which point AKM may have just been able to snipe him sneaking around the corner, so the timing was extremely unfortunate for Rogue's Widow. Well, ID staying on the Widow. Like you said, the Widow duels continue way longer than you might normally expect. As one Widow gets dove, AKM has the vision advantage. They still have not recaptured, though. Pressure on the Shatter2k. Winston combining and will manage to just barely pick off Soon, as Soon commits for that one, though he does fall in the end. Mezzer takes advantage of the opportunity, has the Primal Rage available. He can probably get it to 99 with this, trying to batter that window away from her. Well-entrenched position up above, stays on the point, keeps it in fighting shape. With Shatter2k coming back with an aimbot, it's not even a guarantee that they'll be able to take this point back. Rogue have to, though, at 93%. They're not going to get a full reset. That is for damn sure. Pulse Bomb coming out. Shatter2k dodging it.
Yeah, but Mezzer didn't. Winston down, and ID finds another headshot onto AKM, so I haven't really been keeping score of the Widow duel, but it seems ID has found AKM more often than not. Overtime ticking down now, but Rogue have finally got their feet planted once again. They're going to push forward a little bit with Nox to try to prevent Shatter2k from doing anything on his own, but he is in no man's land at this point. Will need to retreat back to his team as AZK goes down. He'll be the last respawn here for Liquid. They're in a position where they only have to win one fight. Shatter2k does have the tactical visor. If they use that with ID's recon visor, he'll know exactly where to shoot from the beginning, so could be very, very potent here. AKM has actually swapped off the Widowmaker now that they have control of the point.
Hell of a cheat combo, aimbotting and wall hacking. Can't really do a whole lot better than that. As Shatter2k doesn't really find the opening that you mentioned, because he had to wait for this Lucio sound barrier to wear out. He gets slapped! Oh, what a sick play! Unko, the god, making things happen here for Rogue, and that might have just been the sleep that won them the stage outright. The kills start to rain in for Rogue. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, perfect timing actually for Rogue to have Liquid run in like that and just get flopped over. ID actually made a swap to Sombra at the very end, just in case there was a chance of even contesting, but they shut that down at the exact right time to make sure that they won the round, and now we're going to be headed to the well at a scoreline of 1-1. I do expect to see Farah's, at least on Liquid's side. Yeah, ID going to swap back very quickly there. AKM, a little bit more of a question mark, but he is going to start out on the Farah as well. Unko move into the Mercy now. So we're back to a little bit of a mirror here, with the exception of Shatter staying on the Soldier and Nico staying on the Diva, which is kind of interesting because Genji actually does run rampant on this point pretty often.
Yeah, we've seen Shatter also not afraid to pick up some of those, you know, off tanks like the Zarya, like the Diva at times as well. So definitely a possibility if he doesn't feel like the Soldier's working, he switches onto any of those three options. But for now, AZK going to lead the charge as the main front line aggressive flanker and looking for openings. Will get onto Soon. Has the help from his Winston first, so able to force out the recall. Can be an opening to find an early pick. Even the Winston jumping again, and Nox too. Trading blows. Neither Pharah getting a whole lot done just yet, so the ground war seems to be what will decide this initial fight, as Lucio getting hammered down from behind wins, ends up taking the pistol whip to the rear, almost getting the Winston up above. AZK very close to a triple kill, not entirely on his own, but good job cleaning up. Now onto the point, starting to cap. Not much sign of a contest here, and they will draw first blood here on the well.
Liquid doing a good job again in that ultimate-less fight. They come out on top with the added damage from Shatter 2K. The Soldier versus D.Va kind of really showed its difference there, as Soldier could just free fire from range. D.Va was trying to stay in the faces of those range characters, but in the end, it just gets popped out of the suit. Can't push out nearly as much damage, and Shatter 2K does have the tactical visor ready. In case AKM and Unko come flying in, they're going to be shot out of the sky very quickly with that tactical visor. AZK already has a pulse bomb as well to use.
Yeah, whenever you see a Tracer playing that far forward, you just know, oh god, he's gonna bomb me, ain't he? And now he looks for it. AZK diving in, still the tac visor being held, picking Shatter early would be huge, but still being patient with this pulse bomb, trying to force a commitment, and Nox dropping so low. Rogue trying to bait out those ults, it feels like. Finally, well, they get one, the Shatter 2K visor, but it comes with a heavy punish, and AZK is able to hold on to the pulse bomb throughout it.
Soon takes a dip in the well there just to rejoin his team back at spawn, and AZK still hasn't used his pulse bomb. Like you said, the tactical visor, or wait, did he use the bomb and got another one already? That's also possible, but Shatter 2K used the tactical visor, just took out AKM onto Pharah immediately, and AKM actually swapped now away from Pharah onto Soldier of his own, so ID is a big enough threat that Rogue need to react to it. We've got the dive in here from Mezzer, forcing those tanks back a little bit, and ID finds the kill on Nox, who dove into their own backline.
Meanwhile, speaking of Tracers with pulse bombs, Soon not going to be around to use his any longer, as he gets tagged by a rocket. Direct hit there, beautifully done. At 80%, with a barrage available, with a res ready, and with the Primal Rage on a great environmental kill map, this is going to be a tough retake for Rogue. Can they find the openings to move back in? There's some chip, some threat. Good boop off attempted as the Winston gets in from behind. D.Va Bomb's going to prep the initial onslaught, and Nico finds that critical kill, and it's on to Hang, takes the Reds out of the picture, setting up Rogue beautifully. What a clutch D.Va mech to get things started. Not entirely over yet, as the Winston has gone in with Primal Rage. They get it to overtime. AZK committing with the pulse bomb, and now ID going in with the barrage. Only finds one on AKM, eventually goes down to Nico. I believe was eating most of that up with the defense matrix, so now down, outmanned. They will end up losing the point, but they get it to 99. They just need one fight.
Man, that was another brutally close finish there for Liquid. They did kind of a similar thing earlier on, where they were able to max the point out, but then Rogue reclaimed it. So Dehang dying first with the res in hand obviously meant that they couldn't get it done this time, but on the rebound, it's very possible here. Wins Unko soon. If they can outlast their ultimates, that res could be massive, but Shatter 2K's down already, so Liquid are going to try and fight near his corpse just in case anyone else goes down. The res could come through. It looks like they're going to abandon that now as he respawns, and they need to back up just a little bit, but 30% now for Rogue. They're going to press forward when they sense weakness. Mezzer goes down, so they still have a 6v5 advantage.
Soon still waiting for someone to come through main, and percentages slowly ticking in, but if Liquid would like, they can wait until they have 6 ults, but by the time they do, they might run into 6 of Rogues, who have the Ana boost, the Lucio barrier, plenty of tools in the old kit. First pulse bomb attempted, won't be enough for the kill Mezzer, just unable to find the stick. Now the pounce forward Soon, trying to bait that Winston into an uncomfortable position. Meanwhile, Shatter 2K getting pounded from both sides by the tanks. That's a horrible way to die. Roasted by Winston from one direction, pooped by the D.Va from the other. Ends up going down, and still Rogue continuing to take fight. Now closing in on a 99 overtime duel as the Winston starts swinging those big arms, but still Rogue holding the fort.
AZK got 3 kills over the course of that. He found the Soldier, he found the Lucio, he found the Ana, and then the Primal Rage came to help him out as well. So Rogue are actually at odds. They only have tanks left on the point as Wins returns as Lucio. He's not even in healing range to keep them healthy. So the sound barrier here from Rafa could be enough to force their way back on, but Rogue are at 90% now. Tactical visor from Shatter 2K's right in the face of D.Va, and a slapping Winston, so he goes down during the tactical visor. AZK also dies, but the res comes in from Dehang. Barrage triggered by ID, finds 2 kills very quickly there. Pulse bomb from Soon takes out Shatter. It's still anyone's fight, but Liquid do have 4 players against about, well, 4. Nico is demeched, but Dehang goes down. Soon also down. Still means it's anyone's fight.
D.Va, baby, he goes down, and now Winston, last man standing, they recap it in overtime. Liquid showing that resilience. We've seen it all tournament. They just don't go down easy, even if it looks like the comeback might be happening. Still, though, fight raging on. AKM looking to answer back. Got the Ana boost, dropped the visor, did some good work, and now 3 kills, a rain of red through the kill feed as they continue to fight over this point, looking to recap and in overtime take it back the other way. Rez nowhere near ready, so any kill is a big one here for Rogue, but it's ID. Finds the direct connection, takes out his arch nemesis and the soldier, so has a little more freedom to work with. Diving above the columns and peeking through. ID searching for that quick pick on a squishy, unprotected support, but now the Lucio barrier committed. So we might see that res coming out momentarily at 80%. Hang trying to farm it, but also trying not to expose himself too much because he has to know he's the one they want to kill off, but he turns out to be great bait as the Diva Bomb comes in. Will they be able to punish? Doesn't find anything. Great job there keeping the Mercy alive, but eventually ends up falling at 99% to the ult. Won't be able to survive. So when the dust settles, they do recap, and they end up holding it and taking the stage. But man, it looks like it could have gone the other way with Hang going down.
That very last fight was beautiful for Liquid because they got both supports in basically one attack. It was a Pharah rocket plus a Helix rocket coming in at the same time, blew up Ana and Lucio, and then a boop on Soon, and he did not have a blink or a rewind. So Tracer actually fell into the pit, unable to save himself in that last engagement with almost full health. So that was actually an enormous pickup for Liquid that allowed them to finish off the tanks and get the job done for good. Now we're back at the Lighthouse. This is where Liquid 100-0'd earlier with their excellent Pharah Mercy play. So it's going to be again on Rogue to try and crack this case again, as it just failed repeatedly the first time. They played that strategy essentially where they played it very, very spread out. So any direction that Rogue chose to dive in, Liquid could just swallow them up and attack from all sides. So I'm very curious to see if that's going to work here. Again, Rogue sticking with pretty much the same composition. AKM not even messing with the Pharah this time.
Meanwhile, Rogue, no Pharah Mercy for them this time around. They are committing to the triple dive as they move forward onto Shatter 2K in lower hallways, but a double heal AoE prevents that dive from getting anything done as far as kills go. Still though, good pressure, bottling up Team Liquid as much as possible, but finally they're going to break the contain. Getting out and behind is AZK, drops low as the Winston dives past him. AKM scything through, will find the pick off there, guns him down, and now controlling the high ground nicely. They lose soon, so AKM gonna have to pick up the slack. He will find one, looking for another, but then the res comes in. Hang already has it in the opening skirmish, still nobody having captured the point yet. Pulse Bomb ready for this as well, and well, just an incredibly fast Mercy res puts a halt to any hope of Rogue taking that point first.
I mean, you can tell they've rehearsed this many, many times in scrims. Hang is pretty much the master of the tempo res. It seems every one-man or two-man res that comes through still ends up winning the fights most of the time. So you don't have to wait for, 3 ults to be used by Rogue and then res afterwards. Of course, you get great value that way, but you can get more reses off the way he's doing it and still win these fights. And Nico's going to find the first kill on Rafa. Losing that Lucio will be a bit of a burden, and now they're down both supports and Shatter, so this one is pretty much donezo. AZK still an adept at finding kills after the fight is lost. He gets one more before going down himself, but that will be Rogue grabbing the point. 31% for Liquid. Can they hang on to it? They never actually had this position the first time we were at the Lighthouse. They never were in control of the point, so we'll see how well they defend it against Liquid coming back.
Rogue, great retake. Very little time given up for the cap. Hang no res, at least not initially, coming into this next fight, so they have to be careful about not losing anyone too early. First aimbot, it's going to be AKM. Will Shatter 2K be able to answer back? He hangs on to his, ends up not blowing the tech visor at all, just accepts his fate. Will go down, but that means we are going to see Rogue pulling into the lead now. Maybe looking for a stagger kill or two. Liquid are going to have to back off, reset, and live to fight another day.
This is where Rogue really do excel as well. Once they do have all their ults to work with, they're very, very good at alternating them, especially when you know that Soon's pulse bombs are going to find their mark more often than a regular Tracer. You can really rely on him to be powerful with just the Tracer ult, so they're going to rotate through one at a time. You've got the battle ensuing on the point itself. ID finds Nico very quickly. That's a huge pickup, but Rogue 3 kills already for themselves. Soon again with a kill on Rafa, but the res comes in and Sound Barrier immediately after hits 5 players on Liquid, and Rogue only have 3 left standing, so Liquid in a great position. Oh, excuse me, it's I got that completely backwards. Colors on the team screwed me over, but Rogue is actually coming out on top with that Sound Barrier.
Yeah, they committed the res, the Winston Primal Rage after it. Shatter 2K even dropping the tech visor, and they still can't pull the fight out. Pretty disastrous result. They had the Rafa Sound Barrier towards the tail end, but not able to find a good opening to use it. So now Rafa comes back in with that available. as Nico, sneaky ninja that he is, hiding in the trees. Not the in the corner. Not the first time that we've seen Nico pulling off those sneaky ninja tactics. He tries to run away now. Winston diving towards him, stays alive for the time being, but they lost Shadow 2K. AZK with the pulse bomb available. IDK reins it in with the rockets. He finds a quad kill towards the tail end. Answering back was Nico with the blade, but the recap comes in at the buzzer, 98%. So almost there towards a full completion of the stage. Rogue now just need one fight, and they probably have 2 or 3 to win, or 2 or 3 chances to win.
Past kills from ID, they're definitely benefit Liquid a huge amount. Soon is actually going to march onto the point, and there's no one there to stop him, so he's about 2/3 of the way captured before Liquid comes back to respond, but Unko goes down very quickly on the back of the point. Shatter 2K and Mezzer already eliminated on Liquid. AZK, as he goes down, Liquid only have Pharah and Mercy on the point, and ID can't last. The Hang doesn't have a res, so Rogue are looking incredibly likely here as overtime's already triggered to take it. No blue players anywhere close. Liquid are going to lose this Lighthouse round after winning it the first time. So the 5th and final round, it's going to be either the Well or the Ruins. Mixed results there for these teams. So curious to see which one we go to and if any different strategies will come out. This time Rogue, they didn't even mess with the Pharah Mercy and they benefited from it. So I don't expect them to try that again anywhere. We could still see AKM Widow now that we are back on the Ruins though.
Yeah, ID stayed on it longer, ended up not working out, so perhaps he who swaps off the Widow first is the one to come out on top. But AKM not showing the Widow. He does seem to want to stick on the Soldier, so Rogue running probably their most iconic 6-man lineup that we've seen so much of throughout the group stage, throughout most of the playoffs. One of the teams that deviates the least as far as composition goes. Even Selfless was changing more towards the end. Now, it didn't work all that well, but they were feeling like they had to mix things up versus Rogue yesterday.
Yeah, that was a discomfort switch that we saw at a Selfless yesterday, I think. Normally you don't see them switch ever, and they stick to their, well-loved heroes, but when they're forced to start switching around, things are not going great for them. But as we unfold here, Liquid versus Rogue on the Ruins, round 5 of Ilios. It's anyone's game, but Rafa finds a boop kill on Nox to start things off. AZK down means all that Tracer damage is gone, though. 5v5 still could go either direction.
Widow still not being pressured, but also not getting a whole lot done just yet. ID looking for openings. Great biotic grenade. Did a lot of work, and with that triple hit, it's going to be a pretty easy fight for Team Liquid. I think as soon will fall, and now Nox just going to reset. So point in control of Liquid. They will be on the board first here, though. ID now has opportunity to set up some good sight lines for this ensuing fight. Not on paper the easiest Widow game because there's so much mobility with the Genji, the Winston, and to some extent the Tracer, but so far hasn't really been pressured. The team is just giving him a lot of space.
Well, thankfully for ID, if he can click on their heads, they won't even reach him, right? So he's trying his best to keep them at a max distance, and of course his team is aware that they need to be protecting him as well. But Shatter 2K and Mezzer, immediate kills onto Nico and Nox means Rogue are going to get stopped flat. ID did sink a few shots into that Winston to soften him up, and easy finish up for the guys on Liquid. ID can really just call out anytime he gets a headshot or a body shot, and the other guys, AZK and Shatter, can just turn, do a little bit of damage as Tracer or Soldier and pick up those kills. So everyone shares in the bounty. If ID keeps hitting those shots, they're going to do their best to protect him. Nox specifically is the biggest threat just because he can cover the ground the easiest.
All right, the Widow Wars are back. AKM making the swap now, but he's about to walk into a recon visor. ID very close to that, at 97% now, so should have the advantage as long as he doesn't get picked. Any second from now we'll have it. Primal Rage activated already, though. First blood of this particular engagement drawn by Rogue. Gonna get some boops, at least one off the map. The Winston gets knocked up, trying for the Diva. Get out of here, damn it, he says, but unfortunately, Winston now back to Scientist mode, not quite as fearsome, no longer lifting. Shadow 2K trying to stall, gets on the point. Lasts about a second, he'll end up dropping now. AZK doing the same, recalling, just trying to milk that time back as long as possible, but they know this fight is lost. They'll have to take another if they want to take the map.
Yeah, no chance of the Trickle actually taking it back, but as long as you can prevent the enemy team from gaining, it's just as good. So they get a little bit of staggered there, but they're on quick characters, so it's no big deal in the end. We've got the Recon Visor here from ID, able to give wall hacks to all of Team Liquid, so they know where the threats are. They know Widow's in the far back left, they know Anna's in the far back right. Winds pops the sound barrier to protect everybody quickly from Rogue, and both Widows are taking free shots, but ID gets the headshot onto Winds. Both Lucio's down as this 5v5 breaks out. Soon is going to take out Shatter. We've got deaths on both sides, but Rogue still have the tanks, they still have the Widowmaker. I think that Rogue are going to hang on here thanks to Soon specifically getting mass kills on that one.
Mezzer jumping on and off the point, but this time they're not the ones holding it captured, so they don't get any percentage here, and they will end up eventually losing the skirmish, still sticking on Widow v Widow action as AKM popped off. He's almost got a recon visor already. He just made the swap in the previous engagement, so in great shape to open things up. We'll give the team the benefit of vision now, can set up for potential devastating pulse bomb. That's what Soon wants as he creeps around. Tracer just sneaking her way in, looking for the flank now, trying to jump on the enemy Widow, but not the best time to find that pulse bomb as AZK will strike first. He takes down AKM, Soon also pressuring the enemy Widow. Big commitment here. He's not as quick to draw that blood though, and now on the point, minus their Tracer, they're at a huge disadvantage as they get massacred. Nox will stall this out as long as he can. Soon's just gonna abandon his comrade. Winston down. Recap is here momentarily. So Soon now trying to come on the point. That's not gonna happen. He drops as well. And they have to rush just to touch.
95% and ticking down. Rogue is getting very close, but the Primal Rage at the door stops Lucio maybe from even touching 99%. He can't actually get on there because he gets eliminated mid-air by Dehang and Rafa, keeping him away. Team Liquid do win the map. Oh my goodness, 3-2 against Rogue. And just to remind everybody, Rogue only lost maps to Selfless, I think, in any events leading up to this. So Liquid battling back, tying up the series in just a pure BO5 is actually a huge deal for them. And that's pretty exciting stuff for the viewers, I think.
Yeah, imagine they lose that stage after coming so close, Joshy. Oh, sick play there by the soldier, by Shadow 2K. But imagine that you lose that stage and suddenly you're down 0-2 in a best of 5. You have to reverse all sweep. Rogue, that is a tall mountain to climb for, and almost impossible, I would say, for any team with the way they're playing right now. But instead, 1-1, you know, such a night and day scenario. Between just losing that one stage and taking it. So huge clutch plays by Liquid. Ensure that we have at least 2 more maps. I'm excited about that. Hoping for the full 5-game series and for this to go the distance. And now the question is, where do we want to go next? Control point maps, and especially Ilios, continue to be Liquid's friend. Wonder if Rogue is going to go back to something a little more hybrid, or perhaps a payload map. And indeed, that is the call. It's Dorado. Quick and decisive decision by Mr. Wins.
Yeah, Dorado yesterday against Selfless was Rogue's strongest map. They, I believe, breezed through it with something like 3.5 or 4 minutes remaining on the clock against Selfless, who full held them on Kings Row A. So, like, it's just complete night and day between the full payload and the hybrid. And Liquid, I'm not sure how the Dorado's been lately, but we'll obviously get a nice example of it as we move forward. Team Liquid will be attacking first. Shatter 2K on the Genji. I fully expect to see AZK on the Tracer as well. ID and Dehang can still stick with Pharah Mercy. The first point on Dorado specifically can be pretty beneficial for that. So I do expect comps to stay relatively similar. They know that Rogue likes to run the dive defense, so perhaps they'll try to capitalize on that. And if AKM doesn't play the soldier, I'm expecting some big rocket hits at the beginning of this Dorado offense.
All right, looks like Liquid need a moment here, guys. So for those just tuning in now, thank you so much for joining us. You are watching the Overwatch PIT North America Grand Finals. $15,000 prize pool up for grabs, the lion's share of it to be awarded to whoever takes this BO5. Series is tied 1-1, so we have at least 2, potentially 3 maps to go. With Rogue coming in, for those who haven't been following the scene that closely, as extremely heavy favorites. Liquid, a team that had just shuffled their roster, showed like some signs of promise in the Carbon series, but wasn't getting the results. Then all of a sudden, after the group stage, which was kind of average, I would say at best, they came alive in the playoffs. Got knocked down in the lower bracket, but gave Selfless, one of the other strong teams in North America, a good run for their money, and now find themselves, after quite a remarkable run, really, in the Grand Finals, searching for the full tournament victory. So Rogue definitely still kind of the conquerors of North America as they've come in and just been a dominant force for the last 4 to 5 months or so, but Liquid perhaps can take a notch or 2 off of their belt.
Yeah, Rogue right now are champions until proven otherwise. Basically, every tournament that they enter is theirs to win unless the upset is lurking. So Team Liquid, again, they've only lost 2 matches in this entire tournament. They lost 0-2 to Rogue in the groups. That was their only groups loss. They came out second out of there, and then Selfless in the winner's bracket beat them, and Team Liquid got their revenge in the BO5 losers bracket finals. So they are working on their revenge here against Rogue, and if they do come back and snap this 20-plus match streak of Rogue, I think Liquid are definitely in the consideration for Tier 1 NA. I don't know if one victory over Selfless in a BO5 is enough to really cement that, but just taking a map off Rogue definitely helps their chances and definitely opens the eyes of a lot of naysayers, perhaps, as the Quakers, the Quake legends, really have struggled to find success up until this point. And Rogue obviously would be a huge victory for any team out there, not just Team Liquid. So as we continue on to Dorado, I still expect Rogue to be that Goliath. Team Liquid still playing the David, so there is a chance the slingshot hits the eyeball or something like that and knocks him over. But Rogue, until proven otherwise, I think they've got Dorado pretty much locked up as well.
All right. You're such a hater, Joshy. Come on, man.
It's not hate. It's
Come
announced.
on, man. You got to root for the.
I can go get the Liquid shirt right now. I can wear the Liquid shirt, but I feel like that's too much bias on the other side.
Well, all right. Well, as someone who has followed Liquid in a variety of other esports, their Dota teams, their StarCraft players, you're not wrong to root against them, or not root against them, but bet against them. Historically, Liquid often disappoint their fans, but perhaps this Overwatch team is the start of a new day. I'm going to say it's a clean slate, and they seem a lot more clutch than some of their comrades from other games. So I believe in it.
It is BO3 territory now. I mean, the fact that they tied the series up means they've essentially just shortened the series, but they only got that short bio break really to try and catch their breaths. And on the defense, you do see Rogue rolling out there with AKM on the Soldier. I think they are fully expecting the Pharah Mercy again. Nico's still on the Diva to eat those rockets and barrages, if at all possible. But yeah, I got my start on Team Liquid, man. StarCraft 2 was my first esport. So back in 2010, TeamLiquid.net, they were actually one of the first people to ever pay me for esports related writing. So much love to Liquid forever and ever. But their Overwatch team, it's two different things.
We'll have a pause here, so we do have a chance to reminisce. I was going to say memorize. I'm not sure what that means actually, but
sure, let's memorism everywhere.
But yeah, I mean, the thing that I remember about Liquid StarCraft was that they'd have like a player who started to really, perform. Like Huck comes to mind, and then EG would just poach him, and that seemed to just keep on happening. And EG often getting those like bigger, juicier free agents, like Jadon, for example. So. That was always the Liquid story for me. It was like finally when one of their players started to look like he was going to become a real force, then he gets poached, and usually by EG. And then, when they had someone who the fans were getting behind, they just choke a little bit. But, perhaps this Liquid will change that story.
Very similar story for Thorzane back in StarCraft 2. He was on Mouse Sports, won a giant tournament against Polt, the Korean, and EG bought him up like 2 weeks later. So that was the era of evil geniuses back in 2011, 2012, basically buying champions of other games and making them into EG champions instead. But EG days, I don't know if you know, I mean, clearly you do, because Dota 2 is still their kind of central focus, I would say, at this point. But for those who might not know in the chat, Evil Geniuses has gone through a lot of changes, and it's actually player-owned now by, what's his name? Pandam? Peter Pandam?
Peter Pandam. He calls himself the boss. I think he changed his Twitter tagline on us. But initially when he took over that role, it was literally the boss. So yeah, I don't know how many player-owned orgs we're going to get in Overwatch, given what little we know about the scope of the league. It seems like you need to have quite a bit of capital potentially to have a slot.
That's the word.
That's at least what we've seen coming out from like some reporting outlets. So I don't know if the player-owned orgs will be a thing, but hopefully whatever the structure is, players will have a voice. I think that's really the more important thing. Not necessarily that they own their teams, but that they have someone who can advocate for them, protect their rights. So whether it's a union or a players' council, we've seen lots of different things experimented with in other games. But like to me, that's really the key that will decide how the players are treated, and hopefully Blizzard will take good care of them.
Yeah, I just hope that everyone who's been working hard will be able to play at least something like a feeder system, farm system, something like that, because buy-in only is kind of the scary prospect for a lot of these players right now who've been, busting their humps for a year and a half now, trying to be the best at this game. So that's really just my wish. I want everyone who's been working hard to be rewarded in some way and have some system to try to be the best in the world. But obviously, Rogue are trying to do that here in the grand finals. They've still got to beat Liquid, and Liquid are on the rise here. Liquid Rising, the joke you made yesterday, sticks into mind. But
great documentary.
It was a great documentary. You guys can Google it after this grand final, because all our players are back, and the pause is resuming now back on Dorado.
All right, so we hop into it here. It's going to be Rogue on defense first. This was the Rogue map choice of map and side. It sounds like Dahang is getting a bit of lag. Hopefully that won't be the case after the modem reset. That does remind me of like the old days where my internet would constantly be going down when I was 56K gamer, or someone would start using the phone line if it was shared. That was not fun. But hopefully Zahane is not on 56K. So here we go. Liquid starting things off on the offense. They are showing this ID Widow as he exits the spawn door. Really going back to the Widow more and more this series, it seems.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm just going to watch him just for a little bit and see if he can click on any heads, but the defense, they're fully aware. As soon as you see the Widow or hear it one time, you just all back off and take that line of sight. Winston's trying to get a better look at things. He actually gets popped in the head for his efforts there, but ID, he's been wildly accurate whenever he does have targets to shoot at, so I like the pick to start out, but ID's going to fall off the cliff and can't get back up. What a start here for ID's Widowmaker.
Shatter 2K avenges him, at least gets something back. But still the Widow down very, very early. Now trading, not too bad, but with AZK also getting demeched, it's not really an even trade. It won't have much impact. So yeah, AZK not playing his customary, more straight DPS role in the Tracer, but instead kind of a tank to be a bulwark for the team. Soon, meanwhile, having free reign as the Tracer, just constantly pressuring here, about to get a pulse bomb. They are committing for the dive onto that Widowmaker as ID continues to be harangued all around the map, not able to find the picks. And at the rate things are going, with 3 minutes to go, he may be swapping momentarily.
That's very interesting that AZK made a swap over to D.Va, then just got desuited. Now Liquid are in a kind of a weird position where it's like 6v5.5, so it's kind of rough, but we've got Shatter actually finding a kill on Wins to start things off. That certainly helps things out. Transcendence going to be used by Dahang rather early in that fight, but they get 2 more kills going their way, and Liquid finally have the door open to push this cart.
As a Genji player, it's always frustrating when you're like when you're swinging that blade and you're like just out of range. Oh man. Well, Shadow 2K hoping to get a little more done, but it was enough, as you mentioned. Got the Zen kill, and then was able to help secure the push. Self-destruct though, they're not going to give this up easy. They throw the bomb over the wall. It connects. Just a nice lob shot there, perfectly timed in place. As Soon moves forward, looking for the pickoff. Shatter 2K has to retreat. The monkey jumps in, pounces forward. Mezzer, angry, out for vengeance. He starts swinging those big arms and looking for more. Isn't quite able to connect on the D.Va initially, but then pounces in again. Will demech her, has the Discord Orb assist him throughout this, forces out the Transcendence. What can Wins get done with this? AZK landing a Pulse Bomb, but meanwhile Soon also did at least get one of his own. So far it feels like at least a slight edge for Liquid. Can they close it out? Although ID doesn't have the best sightlines with the payloads located, actually working against him. The cart that they want to move, well, he says push that thing out of the way as he jumps onto the cart himself. Still trying to contest this. Soon, how the hell is this man alive? Finally, Shatter 2K will dash through and finish him. Going for the Widow Venom Mine, but ends up falling anyway. Shatter 2K about to get another blade. Hopefully this one is a lot more successful than the last Nox. Jumping onto him. He'll kill him midair. Shatter 2K, the shurikens are all he needs. Another pick off midair. The swings, the dashes, the resets. Sick stuff as he will clean up. And finally, staunch defense there, but they'll get the cart through.
That was like the longest 3v3 of all time, I think, with that little fight that took place right near the checkpoint.
It was never like a proper 6v6.
We had Shatter 2K. Yeah, it was just, it actually started out as like a 4v4, then Zen died, Wins got taken out, Shatter 2K fell to like 2 HP and just started wall climbing for dear life until Rafa got back with the sound barrier, saved Shatter's life, he dives right back in. Soon as they're buzzing around the cart the entire time, and just can't get it done long enough for Rogue to regroup and get back into the battle. It's taken forever for Liquid to get their reinforcements, but once they did, everyone able to shove it through the checkpoint. Now we've got a Dragon Blade out here for Shatter 2K. He's up on the high ground finding lots of targets to cut up. AKM and Unko both going down. Wins also being dashed over to, actually survives briefly, but Nico and Wins both under 100 HP. They are not going to last too much longer. The cart itself is not being pushed at all, but as they clean up the last couple of kills, they will have a lot of free space ahead of them.
Always fun to see that Omnic kick as he just calmly floats along and then in a very un-Zen-like way deals with you. So Wins does win that duel, but all things considered, they should be able to get back to the payload now. Approaching Archway, good high ground position here for AKM. Will there be a contest? There is no way for the Winston to easily take him down as he lacks the Primal Rage. For now being pressured a bit by Shadow 2K, but Shadow 2K has to worry about the enemy aimbot. Tech Visor available, and he is on top of that going to get the Nano Boost, so Mezzer runs for the hills. The monkey limps back, will gun him down, cuts him off at the legs, and still AKM chewing away at the last second. AZK walks into his sights. Normally you want to get out of them. He'll end up falling. AKM winning the 3 letters AK duel.
Yeah. Well, the chat seems convinced that they're both AKM, so that's kind of awkward when AZK keeps killing him, but soon...
How can there be two AKMs and two IDD QDs in one game? I don't know, but I love how ID has embraced it, even tweeted yesterday. Yeah, be sure to follow me on my other handle, IDD QD, so he's being a good sport about it.
And they'll pull the masks off each other, and it'll be the same person. But as we have Liquid zooming back into play, Rafa's going to rejoin his team here before they leap in. There goes Mezzer into the action, but he takes a Discord orb pretty early. Actually does manage to survive. Thank goodness for Liquid. It's actually no deaths taking place on either side yet. ID is playing very, very far back, trying to get some space, but there's really nothing for him to shoot at the moment. Widow might not actually be the best for this stretch here.
Nico holding the blade right now, just patiently waiting for them to push in. The payload is stopped and soon just slowly ushering it backwards as we will see the jump in. AKM getting the ID kill, now coming in through the window, chasing the soldier. Shatter 2K gets hit by the triple shuriken, will end up going down. Great focus there by Nico, taking the soldier out of the picture. Now turning back as they can stagger a bit here, whips out the blade, jumps onto the high ground. Dahang is decapitated, and now looking for Rafa. 2 more swings, will get the kill. A great stall as Rogue ended up losing that slightly prolonged first checkpoint fight. Cart was starting to roll freely, and now just flexing their muscles again. They do what they did on King's Row to a certain extent of just all of a sudden like their back stiffens, Josh, and you just can't see them push on offense.
Yeah, every time Rogue are able to deflect them, they get back relatively quickly with the rest of their team, and Liquid can't just get grouped quickly enough to try and ride any kind of advantage until just now AZK actually gets the first kill on Nox. Soon is way out of position, can't save himself there from a diving Mezzer, and he was trying to take out ID but just couldn't get it done in time. You've got a nano boost advisor here from AKM up on the high ground, free firing down, no one up there in his face. ID trying to play safely around the corner, but the checkpoint actually gets reached during that madness. Rogue still had a couple of people alive, but no one touching the cart, and Liquid will secure that second checkpoint. They've got a minute and a half now for the final stretch. Shatter surging forward here, trying to block anyone from Rogue from taking that high ground that they so desperately want, but he can't really do it on his own. ID is going to play point for him as well and watch from behind, but the cart is actually in the final stretch now. Really just one kind of question mark shaped curve to go.
That was kind of a team while you feed moment. They just lost 1 by 1, Nox and then Soon, and AKM's like, man, I have a nanovisor, but this is too much for me to handle. So a bit uncoordinated from Rogue there. They do get punished for it. Now Nox, Primal Rage, stall tactics committed. As Soon respawning can come back in with the pulse bomb, but Winston is going to take a little nap here. He comes back out, and Dahang waiting, so he gets pushed back immediately. Nox trying to jump away. Will they be able to finish him? Important not to let him get away for free, but he gets the heals. He survives, so he stalls it successfully. He doesn't get punished after being slapped. AZK going to go down. Soon, rifling his way right through him, and now they're closing in on a Dragon Blade. Rogue can slam the door here with 20 seconds to go. You die slowly. You're not coming back to the card at all, and that might just be what happened. Shatter 2K getting pressured. The Winston ult committed in a desperate struggle. They hang on. Liquid pushing back now. Shatter 2K with the aimbot, but dealing with the counter aimbot. He gets a late ana boost. Can he turn the fight around? Diving on AKM. AKM winning the duel, just has a little more HP. And now Nico, as soon as he blades, he gets shut down. But they have the numbers edge here. They've gotten the frags they need. AZK, yeah, just kill them all. Not gonna happen. He ends up going down, and Rafa respawning. ID, the Sombra swap, instantly defeated. So they get a decent amount of mileage out of the payload after it looked like they could have been held on the second stage, but Joshi, they do not complete the map.
Unfortunate that they can't push it to extra rounds, but we will get our winner for this one way or another as Rogue switch sides and attack. And just to reiterate, Rogue finished this map against Selfless yesterday with minutes to spare. So Liquid are going to have to be on their best game on defense here to try and slow down just the pure force coming out of Rogue and their excellently skilled assassins. Soon Nico and AKM, any one of them could find a quick, clean kill in the back line of Liquid. So just playing smart, making sure that they're all able to respond to threats quickly is going to allow them to have a chance here. The first stretch can be very difficult to take with dive if you keep losing individual pieces. None of their ults really combo super well without an Ana in play, so it can be a little bit difficult if you're not finding those individual kills. But on the side of the defense, sticking with Pharah Mercy is kind of risky on its own. If you die with res in hand or die just before a res, it can feel really, really bad. And Mercy, as the slow floating character she is, can just get picked off by pretty much anyone at any time. So Liquid trying to protect the Mercy, Rogue trying to blow up the Mercy is pretty much the story here.
All right, well, Mercy against the Discord Orb. is especially painful. I think that's generally been my experience anyway. So, and certainly when you have such great hit scan players and just such a mobile lineup on your team, Soon in particular, very likely to be fixated on Dahang. So he'll try to stick to the rooftop, stick out of sight as much as possible. And in general, running a very mobile composition of their own. We did see a lot more tank play out of Selfless yesterday, but and Liquid ran a bit more in some of those matches, but not really showing much of it in this particular series. As you mentioned, on the Pharah Mercy, so both teams running the Pharah. AKM, as he so often does, doesn't usually get that Mercy pocket. Unko much prefers dishing out the damage himself. So they charge in hyper-aggressively, forget the payload, they say, let's get some frags, this is deathmatch time. AKM just straight over the rooftops, immediately seizing control of high ground. Now they can look to back off, potentially take the fight. Dahang, you mentioned, gotta be careful about your positioning. He gets punished instantly. Now ID taking to the skies. He does have the Discord orb on him, somehow surviving, getting the quick kill there. AKM down, and now looking for the reset. He'll have to grab the pack. We'll let it heal back up. Still the payload, not really moving all that much. Now they start to get it towards Archway. Nox low. They back off for this. They're going to reset. Soon finding the kill. Nox going down. Nico with the dash through, closing in and deep into the backlights, continues to commit forward, looking for a bit more, gets the deflect off single-handedly. One-man wrecking crew here as he drives 3 back. Unko there to assist, has the support of the Tracer as well. You can see this is how Rogue want to approach. Just a man or two on the payload, and then the rest of the team going way deeper, looking for pickoffs and try to separate Liquid.
That was exactly how they played it against Selfless, too. They just dove in and got quick kills, and they're working it this time, too. Nico finds Shatter 2K right away, so Soldier's not going to be able to deal with AKM. ID and Rafa both go down over the course of a few seconds, and the card itself is right on the checkpoint. No one left alive on that one to hang, and not even close to a res there with only 72%. Mezer dives in just to try to contest as much as he can and gets reset with the rest of his team. They all get the far spawn, so this is actually really bad for them as Rogue have tons of time to push onto the high ground themselves and deny Liquid from getting the footing they want. AZK, of course, is a special case. He can kind of do whatever he wants as Tracer, but none of those other players are going to be able to set up the way they want to.
2 pulse bombs available, and when they cross in the night, we'll see who blows up. Nico coming in from behind as well, has the blade, just sheath, and at any moment, ready to be unleashed. He does get Mercy low, forces her back, she has to grab the pack, and now Nico, with the help of the team, is able to finish off AZK, survives on 30 HP, gets back towards safety. Now they can snowball with the Discord Orb. Diving onto Shatter, ripping out the blade, and beating down the Soldier. Finds that first kill, can't climb though. It's been an ill-fated Genji day in terms of those acrobatics, but the Shuriken seem a lot more reliable and have been overall relatively successful as they fight breaks out. Round 2 will go. Primal Rage from Nox with the Lucio ult. Shatter 2K, talk about getting cockblocked. This man getting nothing out of it. Is going to be battered around, eventually ends up going down without really any damage delivered. Payload is stalled for now, but with the way they're staggering, not for long.
And Rogue just totally took care of business on that one. The fight on the cart itself was kind of wild with players on Liquid just kind of bouncing all over the place, but they found AZK very quickly, were able to remove that threat, and once the Tracer's gone, that's a lot of your contesting power actually removed for Team Liquid. There's a technical visor from AKM up on the high ground. Pulse Bomb actually sticks Winston on his way into Soldier, but Mezer still gets the kill on AKM. Sound Barrier going out now for Liquid. Can they stay in control of the cart? They found a few kills, but Soon and Nico are still here making life difficult for them. Unko up on the high ground as the Zenyatta still shooting his orbs freely, but Shatter 2K is going to try and deal with him. Does end up finding the kill there. Rafa goes down as well, and Rogue are still in control of the cart. Nico and Soon are doing it basically on their own here. Blade comes out, and Nico is cleaning up.
It's slicing time. Nico making it look a lot easier, as he will get Dahang, very importantly, denying Dahang the res charge that he was looking for. So now, Joshy, 4.5 minutes. Cart is very close. Team has all the momentum in the world, and they're still sticking to their comp, not seeing any major changes. Shatter 2K is on the Diva, but that's really it. Still sticking with the Pharah Mercy. They believe in it. It has gotten them far in this tournament, but will it get them the rest of the way? Yeah, just 4 minutes to hold it right here. Basically don't lose a fight. No pressure, Liquid. No pressure at all. Pulse Bomb comes in. Mezer first down. Shatter 2K about to beat D-Max, and then the tanks are out of the picture, and the DPS will have to pick up the slack, but it's looking very difficult. Unko being dove. Rez is committed. Round 2, so they'll have another shot, but the cart's almost there as they take this second fight. They also have to prevent the payload from pushing whatsoever. Tracking nicely. AZK doing good damage. Finds one. Make it 2 limbs with the help of the team. Diving onto Soon. Looks like he should be able to reset this fight. They can go for a little bit of stagger. They'll want to bleed as much time off the clock as possible. And we'll reset now, but if you're Rogue, you know, ults are coming. You just need one good fight, and the map is yours.
Really interesting. The Winstons are doing so much on both sides here for Liquid and Rogue. Unko finds the first kill on ID. That's terrible. Deheng doesn't have his favorite pocket anymore. Pulse Bomb goes out, doesn't catch anything. Transcendence going to be used by Rogue. There's a sound barrier from Rafa. Only catches 4 members of Liquid, though. It's Nico, excuse me, pulling out the Dragon Blade. He's going to start dashing and slashing. Shatter and Rafa both fall. AKM uses the technical visor as well. And between that and the sound barrier, Liquid have no one left near the cart. ID returns in the last second to try it, but it's going to be all Rogue. And they finish with 3 solid minutes, just like yesterday against Selfless. I was confident they could do it again, and they just breezed through on Dorado. That's definitely their map to go to, and Liquid will now have a map pick to try and even things up again.
Yeah, Liquid definitely feeling a bit stubborn at times, whether it's ID staying on the Widow so long on offense there, or just not swapping off the Pharmercy. Just didn't seem like it was working for the team, but they choose not to make the switch, get punished for it. Now we go to our next map. Control point, I imagine, probably the way Liquid want to go, considering that some of their most successful picks tend to do better on those maps, but we'll see. These payload maps are just a consistent and ongoing problem for them.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it seems like Rogue on Dorado just have it figured out, and Route 66 was another really successful map for them throughout this tournament. So it just seems like full payload with the flankers that they have just makes sense, and it always seems to work out. They've got really good combinations with Unko on the Zenyatta. He actually was not getting killed nearly as much as he does sometimes, and on control maps, that's actually a benefit for Liquid. They can actually get to Unko a lot easier. They don't have to get past everyone all the time. They can actually just walk around the sides and try to flank him, for example. So Nepal could be the choice. They won Ilios, but a Lijiang Tower is still, for whatever reason, another one of Rogue's wheelhouses that they probably want to try to avoid. We'll, of course, see the choice in just a moment, but I would avoid full payload, probably take it to Nepal if I'm Liquid.
All right. It is their choice. They'll also get to choose side depending if it is a payload map. So it's Lijiang Tower, so it is control point, and the die is cast at this stage. Okay. Liquid are going to take another control point map, but let's say they win a Joshi. Rogue get map selection as the winner bracket finalists coming to the grand finals. That was their advantage, and the way the series is unfolded, they will get to choose the last map. So you might win this one if you're Liquid, but if you're thinking about taking the series, sure, it's one map at a time for them, but then it's like, all right, what are we going to do? Because Rogue is probably going to pick a payload map of some kind. And then they have to win on Rogue's home turf.
The pool after this map will only be Hanamura, Nepal, and Route 66, if I'm not mistaken. And if Liquid do win on Lijiang Tower, I don't expect Rogue to take them to Nepal. I think it would definitely be Route 66 in that case, because then Rogue would have lost 2 control maps in a row to Liquid. So I think that Route 66 would probably be picked over Hanamura in that case. But you know, anything could happen here. Liquid still have to win Lijiang Tower for that to even matter, as Rogue are now in a 2-1 lead in the series. This could be tournament point for Rogue. All they have to do is win Lijiang Tower, and they walk out of here with first place.
Well, they dropped 2 to Selfless yesterday, but they have yet to lose a series in this event at all. Yet to not finish first in a tournament in North America. These Frenchmen are certainly a fearsome bunch. Don't let them fool you with those baguettes. So.
All right.
No. I like that laugh.
I had a spectator bug there actually as you were talking, and it took me to the different point. It took me to the garden level. That was very strange. So I got super confused. Yeah, I like right-clicked on somebody at the wrong point, and it sent me to the garden, and no one was there. So it's very shocked. But we've got 5 seconds open. I just grabbed someone else's camera. We're good to go now. Control center about to be battled over here. Team Liquid versus Rogue. You're watching the NA Overwatch PIT Grand Finals here, $15,000 tournament taking place over multiple weeks, and this could be the final map of the entire thing. Rogue coming in here with a 2-1 advantage.
Yeah, already the action heats up. Shatter 2K backing off. They do continue to run the Pharmercy, and on these control point maps has proven to be a lot more successful. So off to a good start, finding multiple picks. They zoom onto the point. Shatter 2K out in front, now looking for the staggers. Will he get anything? No, he drops the X just to let them know when they come back that this zone is ours, and it is indeed Liquid controlled territory, at least initially.
I have seen them use the X-Spray quite often, perhaps to just mark locations on the map, like, hey, when they come this way, tank, you go over here, etc., etc. So I actually really like the use of sprays as almost like raid markers that you used to see in World of Warcraft raids, for example. But we've got fights breaking out all over the place. The high ground specifically is hotly contested right now between Winston's, Pharah, Mercy both up there. ID actually gets 2 kills on the enemy DPS, so Liquid, they grab the point first and they're defending it admirably.
All right. Nox sticking around, though. Team trying to reassemble, but like you mentioned, ID finding the double kill and squishies. If he is not contested, he almost immediately gets out of control, and so many good angles to use on this particular stage. As Pharah, limited environmental kill potential just on that outdoor area, but he finds the direct hits here, down on the low ground, forcing them back, but the point was captured. Team Liquid not able to touch and reset. They do have a res ready, and Dahang's going to give it a shot, but he does so walking into a pulse bomb. Dropped by Soon, won't be connection just yet. Now Nico's turn. Blade about to come out with the tech visor ready, and he's going to have to use it because ID has already found 2 kills. AKM rushing back to the point, but he walks right by Wednesday. Like, see you later, guys. I'm about to go back to studying the wonderful world of science, and he'll jump away towards safety. Shadow 2K holding his own tech visor, and ID, after that res, able to do a lot of work. Now the barrage available again, and the res pays off. They do recap.
ID just having a great time in this match as Dahang, of course, pocketing him left and right. ID with a barrage ready to go. Shatter 2K with a tactical visor means they could do a squeeze play here. Nico and AKM could also do the same, but they've got to kind of get past everyone on Liquid first to try and make it count. And I think Liquid, they're easily set up in a position here to make full use of those ultimates if a Rogue try to press in too eagerly. And Pulse Bomb goes out from AZK, doesn't find anything. Mezer actually dies first before the fight even really unfolds, but Sound Barrier here from Liquid tries to keep them up against the Nano Visor of AKM. Not going to happen here. Nico saving his Dragon Blade does go down. Liquid actually still in the fight potentially. Point does get flipped to Rogue, but Liquid are not gone yet. ID gets double kills there with his barrage, and Shatter 2K with the squeeze play on the tactical visor. Clean out Rogue. Liquid flip it back quick.
Yeah, they do it, like you said, very quickly. Only 36%, and now you're almost certainly in an overtime scenario where they have to recap as Rogue and then take multiple fights to take this opening stage on Lijian. Not going to be easy, especially walking into the Hang's res, and with so many good places, nooks and crannies to hide. You can see he's found one of them. Will he get caught out by Nico? Nico with the blade is actually hunting for that Mercy. Where are you, baby? Hey, you want to go on a date? He's like, not really, but does get bladed down, so really smart heads-up play by Nico there. If they get the res off, it's probably a very different fight.
Not really. That's good stuff. I like that. I like the role play, but we've got it's Liquid on the back foot now, having to respawn together. Still sticking with their guns. Dahang is going to be ready with the resurrection this time, so they actually get 2 chances to try and flip it a single time at 99% and try and get that overtime triggered. But Rogue are pressing up pretty far forward, despite the fact that if they lose one team fight, it could be all over. AKM eating a couple of rockets, but Nox is actually going to be the first one down. Nice shots there from AZK. ID falls as well, and Rez is going to be committed, so Liquid bring everyone back into play while Rogue are down 2. Liquid need to make the most of this momentum and get in there.
Yeah, they have a Pulse Bomb soon on the side of Rogue soon. Can play the hero. Looking for an opportunity to sweep in. Shatter 2K, though, starting to pop off. The stick now in. It's a good connection. Gets the Mercy of all heroes. That's the one you want. Although, yeah, Rez was down. It charges quickly as he's already up to 55% post-death. Rafa now gunned down soon. Connecting and looking to clutch here as they are up to 90%, and all of a sudden it's going to be 99 versus 99 overtime if they can get back. They'll have to do it in a hurry. They'll have to do it without any ultimates. Nico, by the way, to make that Sombra swap can be a real pestilence when the enemy team already has the point and you have to just rush to get back on. He's looking for the hack on the Tracer here. Not going to find it. Winston, meanwhile, holding on the point. They are going to get that Mercy early. Dahang was looking to touch, and he ends up going down as a result, so no res in this fight. Fight's over, folks. There's just no chance with the way that unfolded. It looks like for Liquid. They'll try to hang on. AKM, though, gunning them down. It's just target practice for him, and that is something he excels at.
Poor Rafa, I think he did a phenomenal job just staying alive so many times in this game. He fell to under 100 health and was able to speed boost out of there or find a health pack quickly, and that last fight was no exception. He did a great job staying alive, but the reduced healing radius, reduced speed radius just makes Lucio, you know, so much different than he was even a week ago with the updates. So I think Rafa, it certainly has been benefiting Team Liquid on the whole. They've been doing a really good job in this tournament specifically in the playoff bracket, but sometimes that new Lucio can really backfire if you're just not able to stick with your team closely enough, and I think that was kind of the reason that Liquid got broken down so quickly in the last fight. Rogue, of course, did have a nano-boosted AKM, just shooting the faces of anyone that he could find, but little things like that that add up over the course of a long fight. We are back now onto the garden level of Lijiang Tower, so ID looking for some environmental kills for sure. Keep an eye out for the Lucios and Winston's both to be slapping people around as well.
Nico is going to swap over the D.Va. I was really hoping he was actually sticking on that Sombra, but did make the change to a much more stable composition. See that initial skirmish happening around the bridge, maybe looking for some environmental kills soon, finding great tracking throughout it, now turning onto the hang. They've already drawn first blood. Killed off Mezer, that's the only tank, and with that, just no chance Liquid can contest initially. They have to back off, reset, and this is the downside of this type of lineup. If you lose the Winston that early, you really have no beef.
Yeah, it's really tough, and Winston, he can either get blown up in an instant or they ignore him and he just gets mountains of damage, and that Primal Rage, of course, hits you when you least expect it. But Liquid are going to actually be jumping the gap here almost as a full team. I like the move. It's kind of a rare one, but they are just going to skip the hallway, skip the bridge altogether, go straight onto the point. Rogue not in a great position to intercept this, and Unko is going to be the first one taken out. Healers down on both sides now, and Mezer bites the dust. So Liquid on the back foot. They're down 3, and Rogue should be able to clean up from here.
Yeah, Shatter2K thought it was a winnable fight as he saw the D.Va get knocked out of mech, pops the attack visor, ends up not paying off, so now puts them in a worse position coming into the next engagement. That was a pretty tough call. I was actually thinking he might be able to take the fight for them, but then he just lost 2 teammates in a matter of like 3 seconds, and all of a sudden, in hindsight, not the right attack visor. And in fact, apparently not the right hero. They're going to grab another tank, switching him over onto the D.Va, and looking now for the retake.
AKM just got mowed over as Liquid rolled back in here. That's a real loss for them. Pulse Bomb didn't find anything from AZK, and he goes down. But Liquid, this is the most kills they've gotten successfully on a re-entrance here. Pulse Bomb goes flying out from Soon this time. Does not connect quite well enough. The Hang actually going to use the res this time, and Liquid all pile onto the point. D.Va Suit comes flying out. Might not find anything, but that's okay because AKM found the kills with his visor anyway. Unko also giving him the nano boost. Means Rogue will wrap this up, and this is looking a far cry from what we just saw in Control Center. Rogue shooting for the 100-0 on this point.
One more fight, that's all it's going to take. Rogue are certainly showing some resilience here as they're up 2-1 and looking to close out Liquid on their comfort map in the control point style. We'll see a pretty decent selection of ultimates ready for Liquid as Mezer has the Primal Rage, and they're all on the bridge. This could be an opening to potentially get some knockoffs, but everyone's so mobile. Shatter2K finding multiple kills on the D.Va. Still has the D.Va bomb available. Now going for the boop. Can he knock that pesky soldier off the map? AKM, no, he's going to get booped by Winston instead. That's just a pin cushion, really, for Liquid. We'll recap, but it's into 99% territory already, so got to be flawless here, Joshi. With the Mercy and how quickly that ult charges, can definitely chain some fights together with a good tempo res or two, but still, just as easily, one lost fight, and Rogue will take it.
I gotta give props to Shatter2K for that last fight. He opened it up by booping Nico into the pit as D.Va. He had just used his flight, so the timing was perfect to sink a full health mech. And Nico gonna eat a pulse bomb very quickly here, also loses his mech suit really rapidly. ID going to drop the barrage, gets multiple kills there. AKM and Unko both down, and a res committed for Liquid once again. The Hang has been hitting these reses reliably as Pharah in this match on Lijiang Tower, but is it gonna be enough? They've still gotta hang on for 60 more percent. Wins gets booped off by Rafa, another unlikely boop kill, but Rogue are just folding over now. They will regroup and spawn, and Liquid will tack on another 10 or 15%.
Yeah, they are running low on ultimates, though. Blowing the res in that fight. Actually, nothing likely to be ready in the upcoming engagement, aside from a pulse bomb. So, eyes on AZK to see if he can get something done, or else it's going to require some fantastic rocket placement. Or maybe a boop. Looking for it on wins. Doesn't quite find it. That Lucio just continues infuriatingly bunny hopping around and will stay alive for the time being. AZK, though, on the flank, looking for something here. AKM got the nano boost, doesn't have the visor to go with it right now, though, but still Soon drawing first blood. He gets the pulse bomb kill, takes the Winston out of the equation, and that's not the kind of science that a Winston likes to hear. AZK stays on the point, stays alive. Hang goes down, though, at 88%, so he won't have the res for the upcoming round 2 of the skirmish, and then just to really put the salt in the wound, the D.Va bomb will connect, takes out Rafa. That's another support down. Mezer stalling onto the point, but not for long, and it looks like Rogue up 2-0, and now going to have Liquid on series point and tournament point for first place the rest of the way here on Lijiang.
I hate when I get salt in my wounds, and Liquid, they're going to be fully wounded coming into this one. Obviously, they had a great map on Ilios, but it is not translating well over to Lijiang Tower. The Widowmaker, is that really the entire difference? Like, ID actually had a great time on the Ruins, but he's not able to really make use of Widowmaker on this point, but I think AKM and company have just kind of figured out how to deal with the Pharah Mercy a little bit better. They got a couple of reses off, but they were never too substantial. And AKM, I think, honestly, a big part of that last round was AKM and Unko realizing when to use the Tac Visor and when to hang on to it. Conserving Nano Boost for the right times seemed to make a big difference there. They got up to 99.0% before actually getting fended off. But Rogue this time on the night market looks like they will be going to their best characters. Nico on the Genji this time, not Diva, so they're not even worried about the Pharah Mercy so much this time.
Well, let's see if they should be. They march onto the point now. ID getting some good initial hits here, but has exposed himself, tries to boop AKM away, but still getting the healing station boost, stays alive, manages to take down his arch nemesis in the Soldier. Now ID has free reign over the point. Nico's going to stall in. They still hide under that Winston bubble, hoping it will protect them, hoping it will keep them alive, and it seems it will. Nox diving forward, finding two. The reset's going the other direction, and so often we do see this with Rogue, where it looks bleak, but their mobility and the ability for their heroes to find not one kill, but turn into 2-3 with the dive comp can turn things around. They continue to stall, but already Liquid have kept the point, starting to get a few modicums of percentage. This could be the shortest hold ever, though, if they don't get 1 or 2 more kills on DPS. They'll take down Nico. They can maybe boop off this Tracer momentarily soon, pressuring the Pharah, but not able to get the kill. What a shot! Absolutely filthy by ID! Oh, mamma mia. That was a thing of beauty.
I'll have to keep an eye on the stream delay for that one, because I did not see what you saw, but I'm sure it was a
super long-range. He flick shot at a Tracer at point blank with a rocket. That was just godly. It was really a prediction shot more than anything, but oh my goodness.
Sexy, so I'll have to keep an eye out for it. I'm a fair player myself, so I appreciate a nice point-blank Tracer kill. As Rogue get gathered to come back in here, they do have Nico's Dragon Blade ready to go. Pulse Bomb is going to go off and actually de-mech Shatter 2K very quickly, so that's a nice pickup for Rogue. The Sound Barrier comes out on the side of Liquid, but only affects a few players. To hang is going to use the res, but does not pick up AZK, and Shatter's also down, so Rogue are going to continue this momentum and very likely flip the point off of it.
Oh, Unko fragging out there. Got a double kill all of a sudden on fire with the ult, and they go into the next fight with 5 ultimates ready. So, I mean, ultimately for Liquid, I think it turns out fine, considering it looked like they might lose the point at like 5%, but still, this next engagement and taking the point back anytime soon, it's a tall order going into this much in the way of advanced weaponry. As ID, a bold move forward, a big pounce in for Mezer, and 1 giant leap for the Monkey. And maybe for Liquid Kind, as they start to swing those arms, start to work on the Genji, he tries to crawl away. Come back here, he says, and not going to fight him, has to get towards the point, starts the contest, and now Nico is going to start making his sushi dinner, or at least trying to, but no, he gets denied. AKM could be his turn, has the aimbot available. Unko also with the Transcendence, they had so many ults coming into this fight, but they're not really comboing them that well. Looks like they are likely to lose it at this rate until the Transcendence, until the aimbot. Maybe they can get the turnaround they're hoping for. Really wants that ID kill before he commits anything, but he gets knocked off. Oh, answering back in the end. Now the punch, quick connection by AZK, who keeps this point so close, so close. And now with the death of Wins, and now with the chase forward on the Soon, it looks like should be able to recap. They really should be able to take this. Liquid just desperately trying, even blowing the res for this. Soon still stalling. AKM's turn to stall. Die already! Liquid have to be saying, finally they get it back, but my god, what a stall.
Jeez, that was like a bajillion percentage added up there. Rogue showing their expertise again with the tag team method of 1 person contesting, 1 person contesting. You could see Tracer and Genji bouncing in and out constantly. Nox was there. They had a sound barrier, or excuse me, a Transcendence go out at one point as well from Unko, but Liquid actually getting the first kill here is going to benefit them greatly. Shatter 2K launches the Diva Suit, but dies before he can get into a new one. Mezer finds AKM, who I believe had used his tactical visor, so that shuts down a Soldier and his ult. Primal Rage getting used by Mezer Mezzer here to try and hang on to the point. Soon and Nox are both close by. Nico gonna pop the Dragon Blade. He starts dashing and slashing, but what can he find? Looks like Rogue are actually eliminating all the targets before Nico can get to them, and he does get the last slash on Mezzer to take the point back. This is Liquid's last chance here. LD, what are they gonna do?
Liquid fighting for their Overwatch Pit lives. They've had an incredible lower bracket run, but Rogue proving to be an organized hit squad, the titans of this tournament, and maybe of all of North America, as ID will draw first blood in this engagement. They don't have a res, though. They're very light on any ult charge of any kind. Meanwhile, Transcendence could come out in the middle of this fight for Unko, so don't count Rogue out yet. And indeed, you never really can afford to, as Unko, standing on the point, gets doped by the Winston, taken out at 86%. Big kill, crucial kill. Now the res, that's going to change things and force this Genji away. He ends up getting pincered, picked off, and at 99% into overtime, Liquid very likely, it seems, to make it 1-2 here on Lijian. Not entirely over, but just a stall, and eventually he gives up. Nox gonna give him a little wave, and then we will move on. So almost ended the tournament there, but Rogue couldn't quite close Liquid out just yet.
Hard-fought battle on that one. After the incredibly long, extended fight that Rogue juiced about 30% extra out of the point just by contesting one at a time. It looked really scary for Liquid, but they were able to get that last shove going their way. Once they found the kills, it was all over. 1-2 now. We're back into the control center. ID going straight back over to that Pharah. He is not deterred by Rogue the least bit here, so they're going to move back into control center. Rogue actually keeping Nico on the Diva this time. They are, I guess, expecting the Pharah once again by not having him stick to that Genji that we know he can secure Dragon Blade kills with. So actually now back onto the Genji. Really just a flavor pick, I guess. They'll see how they're dealing with ID over the course of this one, and he may switch back to Diva, but he may not need to if he's killing everybody.
Yeah, this team has so much depth as far as the DPS role goes, but Nico has generally been the one who's been a little less flashy, but this tournament and in these last few matches, he's been, if anything, perhaps the most impressive and certainly the most improved DPS player down the stretch. So, well, with all that said, I imagine he's going to die in about 5 seconds, knowing how our caster's curse tends to work. Nox will draw first blood, takes the hang away, and then the follow-up starts to come through. Rafa falling, ID floating over the point. Mezzer does answer back nicely, though. If they can just keep ID alive, no, it's not going to happen. He gets gunned down. Soon just slashing his way through as the Tracer, already well on his way to farming up a pulse bomb. They will cap first here, and again, Liquid up against the ropes, fighting for their tournament lives, have to now swing the map back from a deficit.
I think Liquid, they could actually get in here, but Mezzer keeps getting blown up on the engagement and does yet again catch the pulse bomb from Soon. Rafa falls very low, but gets himself to a health pack quickly enough. Liquid still in the battle here. Hang falling extremely low before he has the res available. Could be iffy for Liquid. Rogue still trying to find that kill. Very actually difficult time focusing anybody. They're playing up in the server room, and now Liquid have brought the fight to them. Soon and Unko both going down, but Hang does fall with the res in hand. So Rogue still in the battle here until Nico and Wins go down. Nox is going to return to the battle at the exact wrong time, but he could pop Primal Rage. He's going to choose not to, as Team Liquid did already flip the point. If they hadn't flipped it right as he got there, I would have expected the Primal Rage to come out and another 10-15% being juiced out of there.
Yeah, that's one of those like just half-second, really tough split decision type, or split-second decisions, I should say. In the heat of the moment, it is understandable, slightly cost them, but he saves the ult, as you mentioned. So coming back into the next fight, they'll have a bevy of tools at their disposal. Let's see how they opt to chain them together. It starts with Nico going down, though, so they lose the blade early. Can they find the kills they need with the hail of bullets? AKM largely being countered, dealt with by support ults, by Shadow2K, diving onto him, showing that versatility. Not only a Genji player, AZK gets the punishing pulse bomb off, finds the kill. Now Unko dropping the biotic grenade, trying to turn things around. Oh, what a nice turnaround by AZK. He wins the Tracer duel. You can see Soon just zooming in, like, I got this, but AZK says, ooh, hell no you don't. He takes the fight, and a big one, now at 52% with a wand fight and a res ready, Joshy. 1 or 2 fights, they got this, and we go to a stage 5 here on Lijian.
2 really small things that took place there. One was the biotic grenade at the beginning of the fight actually cut Mezzer's ultimate in half. You actually don't get 500 of that health back if you're naded while you use Primal Rage. But Nico is going to start with a Dragon Blade, finds Rafa immediately, and that is one of the best gifts you can ask for removing a Lucio at the beginning of a fight. ID also down now, so is Nico. Diva Suit goes flying out here for Rogue. Can Shatter find anything with it? He actually dies before he can get back into the suit. Soon finds a Pulse Bomb onto ID. Hang falls as well, and Liquid need to just run or die at this point, as that percentage is pretty good for a retake and trying to win the point, but Rogue pretty much have this one in hand.
Well, they did it both, running and dying, so they don't really get away. They will not manage to commit suicide, and the point gets recaptured. Still at least, I would say, 2 good fights here for Liquid in their kind of reserve, as AZK flanks around with a pulse bomb. Looking for an opening. Nico did make that Sombra swap, and is opting to stay on the Sombra, at least for now. We'll see how much he gets done. Has been surprisingly impactful in those last second swaps so far. Second time we've seen this event. Pulse bomb, not going to quite connect, unfortunately. Does get eyes on Nico, but wins already. Booping Shatter, gets the kill on him as he's demeched. And now Soon trying to punish AZK. They're getting staggered, they're getting focused, and they're going down. And perhaps the ship with it. Liquid running out of time now. This probably is going into overtime here before they can retake the point, and that's if they can do it, Joshy.
We are looking at a grand final battle, but with very few ultimates to work with, this is still anyone's game, and we're in the same exact position we were just in with Liquid, having to try and retake the point while Rogue are about to win the game. So extended fight incoming. We've got Primal Rage and Sound Barrier both ready for Liquid. Shatter 2K takes that damage from the Pulse Bomb on his Diva suit. He's going to get demeched very quickly. The visor is out here for AKM. Sound Barrier was used by Rogue as well, and they find the first kill on Shatter 2K. ID down now as well. AKM on the Soldier gets eliminated. You see AZK and Soon doing their best on the Tracers. They're probably going to be the last one standing at this rate. Nox and Wims find a couple of kills, and Rogue have the body count here to potentially end this.
You feel the desperation in the way Mezer's swinging those arms. AZK staying alive on 7 HP. He wants the health back, but it's been hacked. Now back on. Mezer finally falling. Will the team get back in time? Shatter 2K onto the point and off of the point and into orbit. Now the barrage, it's just a trickle, and it's not enough. The stream, the Liquid stops here. Rogue will end up taking it. A good showing. It really was by Liquid. It honestly felt like there was a pretty good chance we'd go to a map 5. But Joshy, as has been the case so many times this tournament, whenever it's a close battle back and forth, it is Rogue who just consistently win those small duels, slightly outplay their opponents. And with this, they will end up taking Overwatch PIT North America.
Great performance by Rogue overall. Props to Team Liquid for their best showing in a very long time. Definitely should be proud of that 3-1 lower bracket match against Selfless, and taking a map off of Rogue is something still a lot of teams have not been able to do. So Team Liquid, excellent showing for them. They're going to exit in 2nd place. Selfless taking 3rd and CLG taking 4th. That is, as you say, that's it for the North American Overwatch PIT tournament. I think we had some excellent games all the way from the beginning of the group stages. We saw some surprising results. CLG actually was kind of a nice story as well, as people probably didn't expect them to get 2nd in their group and 4th in the tournament. But Liquid, I think, is the bigger story behind Rogue actually maintaining their incredible win streak here in North America. Again, I don't think they've lost a series in 2017, so they're going to be happy to scoop another tournament victory, keep collecting those trophies, or at least theoretical trophies. They're at least collecting the money from this one, and Rogue are still on the warpath, still the team to beat.
Yeah, now they haven't maybe been tested quite as much as what viewers would hope for, but we're going to find out soon, Joshy. Can they repeat that envious run from last year? We'll see when they go to Korea, but it's gonna be an uphill battle. I think the challenges and the quality of competition will only increase for Rogue moving forward, but they seem like they can handle it. This team has just been consistent for a long time through a variety of patches. They still haven't really shown, I would say, the biggest depth in terms of strategy, but they haven't needed to. And when they need to make swaps, they make like that micro tweak or just a one hero alteration, and generally those do seem to work. So just relying on solid teamwork, individual mechanics, and overall clutch plays. Rogue take it. They win Overwatch PIT North America, and that concludes the tournament. We just wrapped up Europe earlier today, and our final match. Any last words for the people out there before we wrap things up?
Well, I hope you enjoyed the event. We had nearly 10,000 viewers for the final day, so thank you so much for watching over the several weeks of games. I hope that Overwatch PIT will be back in the future for more tournaments. I think it was a pretty darn good tournament. I really like the format with groups and double elim. We got to see all the teams multiple times there, and it wasn't just like a BO1 qualifier over here and, you know, a single elim bracket over there. So I'm happy that this tournament actually came across us the way it did, and we got some good stories out of it, some new looks at some old teams, and Rogue, of of course, just reaffirming their dominance. So I hope you guys enjoyed my casting as well. If you've got any feedback for me, positive or negative, I've got thick skin. You can send it over to me on twitter.com/askjoshi, and I hope that you will consider following me on twitch.tv/askjoshi as well. But thank you so much for having me, Overwatch Pit, and thanks for some great casts, LD.
Yeah, it was a great time, and big shout out to everyone else who cast with us along the way. It's nice to see some new faces, and we hope to see you guys again in the future. But for now, Overwatch Pit is a wrap. The event concludes. $30,000 in prize money now to be divvied up, and the spoils of war go mostly to Rogue. I'm LD. He's Joshy. If you enjoyed my casting, you can follow me at LDeep with 3 E's. And again, of course, if you have feedback for me, don't hesitate to give me a tweet. But guys, thank you so much. Congratulations to Rogue. Thank you all for joining us. Overwatch Pit North America is now over. Forever.
Forever.